Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 1. I mean, it's not the most convincing of victories, but nevertheless, it's 3 points in the bag, and the lads move on. And in particular, it's a decent victory considering all the negativity surrounding the club after yesterday's supposed rumour that Lyon have pulled a plug on Husam. And if anything indicated that we absolutely need a creative midfielder, this match highlighted that. And funny enough, Edu was in the stands. So I really, really hope he witnessed what we need. And I really hope Mikel Arteta, after the match, drummed it into him and the board, saying that we absolutely need to get this midfield maestro into the team. We need something there. There's nothing there in our central midfield. We might as well be called Krispy Kreme FC. Absolutely emptiness there. Black hole FC, actually. That's what we are. And I think, yeah, until that's addressed, we're going to sort of see the same things happen again. We had our first shot on target in the 38th minute with that Eddie Nketiah's header, and we only had 6 shots in the whole game today. So for me, we have 24 hours remaining in this transfer market, and it's pivotal that the board have to do something if we want to achieve top 4. And if we don't, then if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sorry to be the bad news bearer, but we're not going to get top 6 at all. And that's just my honest opinion. We would have to rely on other teams around us to do really bad and slip up. And that's not a position a big football club like Arsenal should be in. But let's move on to the player ratings. And there's no point sort of discussing the transfer market. As I said, we've got 24 hours. Let's see what the club do. And I'm pretty sure if nothing happens between now until Monday, 11 p.m. tomorrow, then I can honestly see a massive backlash by the fans. And for me, this is something that the fans need to sort of do and continue throughout the season. There's no point saying, oh yeah, Kroenke out now, and then 2 months down the line we completely forget. What happened to the We Care Do You movement? Funny how that died very soon. As soon as we sign Nicolas Pepe, we need to continue the momentum of trying to get Kroenke and these guys who are stagnating the club. But as I said, that's for a whole nother video, and I'm pretty sure I will get around to doing something like that very soon. But on to my player ratings for today. Leno didn't put a foot wrong, and he did make a crucial clearance when David Luiz let the man go, and David Luiz tugged the guy's shirt, and Leno was there out of his goal line to make that vital interception. So for me, Leno gets a 7 just for that moment. But other than that, he didn't have much to do in the game. In terms of formation, so I wasn't quite sure with what sort of formation Mikel Arteta went with today. I think it was a 4-3-3, and even the commentators during the game were a bit puzzled with whether we were 5 at the back or 4 at the back. But I'm gonna sort of refer to my player ratings as the formation I believe that Mikel Arteta put out today, which is the 4-3-3. So going on to the defence. So for right back, Hector Bellerin, surprisingly, he didn't do too bad. He actually got both assists. Other than that, he didn't look too impressive. He didn't make many mistakes either. So, and with the 2 assists, hopefully he can kick on and we can see Hector Bellerin fairly improve. I found it a bit funny though today that many times throughout the match he was playing more centrally and Mohamed Elneny kept covering the right back spot. So I'm not sure if that's something new that Mikel Arteta is trying out with the right back position, just trying to get more from that right hand side. But moving on to his colleague, the left back, Tierney, didn't do much wrong today, and he gets a standard 6 for me. And the 2 at centre back, so we had David Luiz. I thought the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes looked pretty shaky. I thought perhaps maybe he was quite fortunate that perhaps he stayed on the field. Depending on the referee you get, some referees would have been harsh and red carded him for that incident. But luckily for us, he stayed on the pitch, and towards the end he got stronger and he looked really amazing and imposing. I think I could see a decent relationship forming between David Luiz and Gabriel. But on today's performance, Luiz gets a 7 for me. Moving on to Gabriel, I thought, for me personally speaking, my man of the match. 8 duels, won 7 of those, had over 90% pass accuracy. In terms of some of the balls he was pinging out, that beautiful long ball he pinged out to Aubamyang, and you could see Aubameyang applauding the pass. This guy is just exactly what we've needed, and I'm so glad he's joined us. So for me, Gabriel Magalhaes, my man of the match, and he gets an 8 for me. Moving on to the midfield. Surprisingly, Mikel Arteta did not start with Granit Xhaka. I believe this might be the first game in the Premier League where Arteta did not start Granit Xhaka. So in terms of his replacements, we had Mohamed Elneny in the at central midfield, and Mohamed Elneny, for me, decent. He keeps it safe, gets the ball moving, but he doesn't try anything too flashy. Very safe player. So for me, Mohamed Elneny gets a 6. Dani Ceballos looked more lively today. I've been asking for Dani Ceballos to come out and show hunger from the start, because what I've noticed with Dani Ceballos is when he starts in a game, he's not the greatest, but when he comes off the bench, you can see that hunger. And today I felt as if he started with that hunger. So Dani Ceballos played really well for me. Decent game, opened up the opposition a few times, but he just couldn't really break the lines. So he gets a 6 for me. In terms of the front three, ahead of him, I believe Saka was floating around in that number 10 position. So for me, Saka did score the opening goal, and I think after that, and he managed to make a few runs into left-hand side, causing a bit of confusion for their defence, floating between centrally and left-hand side, therefore making it difficult for Sheffield United guys to man-mark him. And Saka gets a 7 for me. In terms of the front three ahead of him, no Lacazette. Eddie Nketiah deputised in his position instead. And for me, Nketiah, not the greatest of games. I admire his hard work. He's just not clinical enough. There was that one decent opportunity. He should have taken a shot first time round, but he sort of delayed it. So Eddie Nketiah for me gets a 5. Moving on to Aubameyang. He was missing, other than a few times when he tried that audacious overhead kick, as well as that long shot. And you could sort of see from when he took that long shot, which was a decent effort, to be fair to him, you could see the anger or frustration in him, and he just thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to shoot from here because I'm not getting the service I want. So Oba, not the greatest of games, but he's Oba, and he just, give him one decent opportunity and he will score the goal for you. So I'm not going to hate on Oba today. Gets a 5 for me. Willian on the other side, I did not like him too much as a right back, but funny enough, I thought Willian actually looked decent when he moved more centrally, and I want to see Arteta next week play Willian more centrally in that number 10 position that Saka played today, and play Pepe out on the right hand side. But throughout the whole 90 minutes, I'd give Willian a standard 6. And moving on to the subs, super sub Nicolas Pepe. I thought if Gabriel was my man of the match, it would have been Nicolas Pepe. He absolutely changed the game. He's showing exactly what I want him to show everyone. I've said from the start of the season that it's going to be Pepe's season, and I hope he proves me right. Pepe, for me today, gets an 8. Moving on to the other subs. So Granit Xhaka came on, didn't really influence the game, gets a standard 5 for me. Likewise with Maitland-Niles, didn't do too much, gets a standard 5 for me as well. And yeah, so we move on from here. 3 points in the bag. Let's see what the club has to say. We've got, as I said, 24 hours left in the transfer market. Please, please, do not let us down, and do not let Arteta down. Thank you.